Morning, dear students. Welcome back to yet another session of English literature, and today's class is for class 9. And we are going to have a discussion on the poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree. If you had watched my previous video, I had given an introduction. I prepared the ground for making an entry into the poem. I gave you an overall view of the poem, probably a little bit of background information, and today we are going to discuss the poem in detail. We'll discuss the poem in detail. So as you know, The Lake Isle of Innisfree is a poem written by W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. So he is actually an intellectual poet. He has written several poems. And he's a literary figure in the sense he's a man who's known for his beautiful poems and some other writings as well. This particular poem, The Lake Isle of Innisfree, is a poem that discusses the pleasant experiences or the pleasures of a village life. If you remember in the last video, I had discussed the advantages of living in a village as well as in a city. So some people may say city life is better because they have all the modern amenities. They can fulfill their needs. But in village, you may not have a possibility to fulfill all your needs, but you have every necessity or every requirement to live a healthy and a happy life. Because life in village is pollution free. You get fresh air, you get to live with nature. You get to listen to the sweet chirpings of birds, the fragrance. You get an opportunity to look at different kinds of flowers, smell their fragrance. You also have an opportunity to see the rising sun and setting sun, different trees, woods and forests and lakes and streams. So in a village, you find things to be in a natural way. There is no artificial life in village. Village people are very happy, genuine, and you get everything pure. You get everything pure in a pure state, and also everything is fresh. Now in this particular poem, the poet lives in a city. He's there standing on a road and sees several kinds of vehicles passing by. He's getting, tired of listening to the sounds produced by vehicles, crowds and crowds of people, crowd and din of the city life. He's frustrated, which means he's not happy with the city life. Therefore, his memory goes back to his village, the place where he was born. That is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. He thinks about his village, the place where he was born. And the place where he was born was a village. It was an island, you see, Innisfree. An island in a lake called Logan, Sligo County, Ireland. So, Innisfree is an island in Ireland. This is Ireland. This is a country. And Lake Innisfree, Lake Isle of Innisfree. It is an island situated near a lake called Logan. And that Logan is a lake situated in Sligo County. County is a kind of small district like, and that's an island. So Lake Isle of Innisfree is an island which is situated in Ireland. You must remember that. So he thinks about his village. And he thinks about the beautiful sunrise, the beautiful evening, the stars, the sounds of bees and butterflies and linnets, okay? Everything attracts him. Everything gives him satisfaction. So he says, I don't want to stay in the city any longer. I want to fly. I want to move towards my village. That is the Lake Isle of Innisfree. Now remember the pronunciation, that is Isle, it is not Isle. S remains silent. Remember that. Okay, now we get into the first stanza of the poem. We get into the first stanza of the poem. I will arise and go now and go to industry. So what does the poet decide? I will arise. Arise. I will stand up and go. Where will he go? And go to Innisfree. He will go to the place where he was born. That is, he will go to the island of Innisfree. I refers to the poet. I refers to the poet. He says, I will arise and go now. Now you must remember, he's not in the village. He's in the city. And that is why he says, I'll wake up, I'll get up, arise, I'll stand up and move towards my birthplace, that is the Lake Island. And a small cabin built there of clay and wattle. And a small cabin built there. What will he do there? He will go to his birthplace, that is the Lake Isle of Innisfree, and he will make a small room. Cabin refers to a small room, a chamber in which one person or two persons can stay at a time. And a small cabin built there of clay and wattle. So what is wattle? Sticks for making a fence. You know, in Ireland, people used to make huts. They used to make huts of sticks. So what kind of sticks? Normal sticks. And they bound the sticks together and made a structure, and they put clay over that structure. This sort of structure is known as wattle. So the poet says, I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree. I will rush to my place of birth. I will rush to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattle. So I will go there. The first thing that I will do is make a small cottage, make a small cabin. And the cabin would be made of clay and wattle. 9 bean rows will I have there. 9 bean rows. So he's interested in gardening, you know. So what he says? I will plant 9 rows of beans. So in village, the soil is fertile, and therefore you can get all kinds of vegetables. So you see, we are in Godda, and there are nearby villages surrounding Godda. So the vegetable market is full of produce from the villages, and they are fresh, green, nutritious, tasty, okay, and cheap as well. So he is in an island and he doesn't want to waste his time. So he says, I will plant 9 rows of beans, and I will harvest the beans and use it for my supper, dinner, or for my food. 9 bean rows will I have there. Not only that, along with that, a hive for honeybee. What is a hive? A hive is a place where the honeybees live. So the buzzing of bees. So he says, I will plant 9 rows of beans. That will be a small kitchen garden for me. And along with that, I will make a hive. And in that hive, there would bees be. There would be lots and lots of bees. And I can take the honey for my food, and I can listen to the buzzing of bees. So what do the bees do? The bees buzz. Bzz, you know, that's a sound. So I can listen to the buzzing of the bees when I have a beehive. So this shows that the poet is interested in nature, and the poem focuses more and more points on nature. It focuses on nature. So it emphasizes the beauty of nature and the need for nature. That is how I can put it. So 9 bean rows will be planted, and a beehive would be made, out of which honey would be collected, and the buzzing of bees would be all around, and live alone in the bee-loved glade. What is the meaning of bee-loved? Buzzing of bees. He loves to remain and live in a place where there are bees. He loves to live amidst the buzzing of bees. He loves to live amidst the buzzing of bees. That noise. See, in a city you don't get to have these noises, you know. You can't just get to have the buzzing of bees, the chirping of birds like insects, okay, chirping of insects like crickets, okay, and linnets and sparrows and nightingales. These are the birds. And only in a village you get to listen to the chirpings of these birds. Okay, then, and live alone in the bee loud glade. So, once again a recap, we will discuss only the first stanza today. Tomorrow we will discuss the second and the day after the third one. So, I will arise and go now. The poet says, I will rise up and go now and go to Innisfree. Why does he want to go to Innisfree? He wants to go to Innisfree because that was the place where he was born. And that is a beautiful island in the country of Ireland. Number 2, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattle made. So he will make a small cabin, and the cabin would be made of clay and wattle. And I've given you the meaning for the word wattle, sticks for making a fence. Then 9 bean rows will I have there. He will plant 9 rows of beans, a hive for honeybee. Along with that, he will make a small beehive. So it's almost like this, beehives are like this and you have the bees inside. So he will make a beehive, he will get enough honey to survive, on, and live alone in the bee loud glade. This word alone is important. He wants loneliness. Why? Because loneliness gives him happiness. So this exactly is the summary or the gist of this particular stanza. Once again, he becomes nostalgic. In yesterday's class, I discussed this. The poet becomes nostalgic. What do you mean by the word nostalgic? Thinking of home. He's in the city, but his heart is, it is there in his hometown. It flies to his hometown. Reminisce. Think of your childhood. So, the poet lived amidst nature and he enjoyed nature when he was a boy. But then as he grew up, he got a job and he went and settled down in a city. Now, the memories of his childhood come to his mind and he reminisces, thinking of the past, thinking of the childhood. Love for nature. I will live alone. What is the sentence that tells you that he was in love with nature? He says, I will live alone in that island. Then he longs for his home, longs for nature, longs for loneliness. You remember this triangle? This is the poet, and the poet thinks of his home, and he wants to live alone in the island, and he wants to live with nature. So these 3 points need to be kept in mind. It is a poem which reminds us of the childhood memories of the poet, that is W.B. Yeats. So I hope you must have got a bit of idea, you must have got a clear picture about the first stanza. There are another 2 stanzas. We'll complete them in the forthcoming classes. Till then, you stay safe at home, keep revising, and a good day.